Hello there. I am a little something that I like to call tired. Almost asleep. Almost asleep is a good way to put it. I'm not tired. I was falling asleep while I was watching a video I published a little while ago. I took a full Klonopin, and it's made me comfortably numb, as the Pink Floyds said. Not numb, but you know, it's its own kind of faded. I normally don't feel like faded from it so much, but I'm exhausted, lack of sleep for multiple nights. So maybe it's time to slow down, seatbelt ourselves in, and find a true adventure of learning. A wire brush works to pull the leaves out. Yes, Jonathan Carpenter, we're cool. He's constantly doing this. It's like, I get it, you're embarrassed by doing crack and wanting to have sex with me, but it's not bothering me because it's not like there's any chance that would ever happen in a billion years. And just, it didn't have any impacts.
You're such a good boy. Oh, yes.
Oh, right, I'm live streaming.
Oh, very cool.
Hello, live streamer friends. I'm almost asleep, but that doesn't mean this can't be the most exciting episode of Talking with Famous People ever. I still can.
Yeah. Yeah.
It still can.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if anybody's gonna get notified of this because it might be because it's my maybe fourth, maybe third video, including live streams up today. And sometimes they're like, "All right, that's enough out of you, Mister." That might happen. It's okay. Let's just. I'm in a super calm mood, thanks to the Klonopin, you know. So let's just talk about: is it possible for me to get an ESFP to understand that while their way of thinking and my way of thinking are very different, and that neither is more legitimate than the other, that my way of thinking is appropriate for this? Is that possible? Or are we just doomed to forever bang my head against the wall? I'd like to think it is theoretically possible that he could say at some point, I've changed my mind, I am an ESFP, and I get it. It's just like, since Eric doesn't have visual art skills, his place isn't to be painting public murals. but maybe he has other things that he's skilled at that he can share with people, or he has the natural proclivities for doing good work in this area, but not that area. Like everybody. Well, some people might say, well, ESTJs, they're good at everything. They Are they good at everything? No. They are competent at a wide variety of things, but mostly what they're good at is keeping their life organized, you know? Staying on top of their shit, getting tasks done, etc. So, you know. Oh. I guess what I need to do if I want to have any kind of effective evangelism in typology is just make a series of positive videos that explain singular concepts from a practical perspective, like when I'm asking you testing questions, people answer these possible ways, and this is how I interpret them. And you know, I guess I would just need to be more focused on doing function lectures. You know, okay, some of the live streams titled overview lecture, refresher overview lecture, where I go over the fields, and just like everything, all the basics. Do a live stream lecture. I mean, obviously, I could just do a lecture, put it up, but it'd be easier for me to do a live stream lecture, have myself lecture notes, but also be responsive to questions. And as I would in a normal class, pause at appropriate junctures, check for comprehension, ask if people have any questions. You know, normal teacher stuff. Are you almost asleep too? Two people who are here. I do get that when you title a live stream Almost Asleep, that's not going to draw a lot of people who are looking for excitement, probably. Because it is true that I'm almost asleep. I also wonder if it's conceivable that putting up more long form videos and shorts might improve traffic. I definitely will improve traffic overall because it'll get views and stuff, but what I mean is make the streams a little more lively, you know? Nope. I can't do it right now. say? Live chat. Live chat. Nope, you are woke. Hi there, John. Yeah, I'm pretty woke. I'm as woke as can be. That's why I'm constantly trying to force people to become transgender. Listen, just go to the hospital and get it done. I don't want to be transgender. I'm tired of hearing this kind of hate speech from your mouth. If you didn't hate transgender people, you'd get transgender reassignment surgery. Now get out there and do it. Show us how woke you are. It's cold, diddly old. I need my wool hat. Not only did I get my hat, I remembered my glasses so I can read things. People can want whatever they want, but they won't be able to have it all. I mean, what if they want very few things? Can they have all of those things? What if someone only wants 3 things? Can he have it all? Well, hat helps, but this jacket's just not quite heavy enough. I want $1 million, but I don't know what I would do with it. Ideally, you'd try to preserve it as much as possible and spend as little of it as possible. Guess I must not close it all the way. Yeah, the whole fight is for few things, not all. Well, yeah, as Stephen Wright said, you can't have it all. Where would you put it? It is a chilly night. Bird cold blur. It's got to be 40, 39 maybe. Of course, it's not raining right now, but it's wet everywhere. It's been raining for days. So the wetness in the world makes extra cold go into you, even if you're not wet. That's my theory. If you don't know what to do with millions, then you already have millions. That's true. I don't know what to do with these millions. Does imply that you have millions. I want $1 billion. There's no point in wanting $1 million. I don't know how much would change if I had $1 billion, but I guess I'd Probably buy some dumb stuff. Because a trillion, I mean, sure, if somebody's giving me a trillion, I'll take it, but $1 billion should be plenty. I mean, I, I, I don't think I need more than that, really. But I also don't need less than that. I need exactly $1 billion. I mean, there are two things you can do with money that are potentially worthwhile. You could make more money. If you have $1 billion, why bother? Or you can use it to fund living and playing exactly how you want, you know? Would that be satisfying? Maybe not, you know? I find I'm ready to get back more engaged with the world. Working, ideally, drawing up some more typing business for the channel. And trying to bring in some money and just generally having more responsibilities and stuff. I'm ready now. I had a long time where I was avoiding that, but I'm ready now. Money is multiplied to more and more so that people can get the feeling that they can have it all, but still it's not possible. Well, it's true that you can't have it all because all of our choices, even the very best ones, eliminate other potential choices. You only have so much time, attention, and ability to prioritize things. You have to make choices as to what's worth prioritizing and what's not. For me, I had to learn what I don't like better. Like, I don't like to travel. I don't like to get jostled around. The route is open to steal all the cheese, but it can only take what it can take. Oh, well, what if it makes multiple trips? Have you seen Pizza Rat? He had a whole big slice of pizza, carried it all the way. How you doing, Ananova? Is your hangover over? He felt better about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so he was like, well, I'll just have a couple of beers tonight. Right? Multiple church balls got the rat. But, okay, I gave you another one, too. Have you seen Pizza Rat? He was able to carry that whole big slice of pizza all at one time. And he was like dragging it like it was heavy, you know? I guess multiple trips put the rat at risk for some person seeing it and exterminating it. If I were a rat, I'd be on the lookout for be on the lookout for traps and stuff. Grab the grundle for 10 seconds and squeeze. It will help you fall asleep. Works every time. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, how likely is the rat to find so much cheese that it's more than that big piece of pizza? And if he can carry away that big piece of pizza, why can't he carry away all the cheese? That's my reason. I mean, granted, it's probably easier to pull a piece of pizza which has a flat bottom than it is a say a square block of cheese. That's going to be harder for the rat to carry. And I'm not convinced that the rat would choose cheese over pizza because pizza has cheese on it, but it also has other things. Hmm. Got this one like little ridge thing in his tooth, and it doesn't bother me except that food constantly gets stuck in it. I mean, it's kind of hard to dig it out sometimes. I dropped a massive deuce the other day, probably a record breaker for me. Well, Admiral Mighty Buffoon, I would tell you, I had a couple, maybe even three regular poops earlier in the day, but then my stomach was churning, and like within the last hour, I had two massive colon blows. The present is always limited, and we are always in the present. Well, I would take exception to that, actually. Unfortunately, I know that I am suspect to spending time in the past, and my memories recalling previous failures and cringing or saying I hate myself when I think about them. And you might say, well, you're remembering the past in the present, but functionally, my attention is on the past. And when I'm feeling anxious, my attention is on the future. That's why you have a lot of people give the advice try to be in the present, because it's actually quite the it's quite the opposite that we're always in the present, because if I were always in the present more, if I were more in the present and more and had better executive functions about the present, then I'd be happier and more productive. Because thinking too much about the future means anxiety, thinking too much about the past means regret. I mean, the past absolutely affects the present. Like, I went through a stretch of depression after my parents' death, and that present was defined by the depression that was caused directly by the past and the reality of the past persisting into the present. Well, it is the case that when I was depressed, I was experiencing the present in the present at the time. But the reason I was depressed was because in my mind, I was fixated on a whole bunch of past events, having intrusive memories, unavoidably paying attention to the past, right? So the thing is, we draw distinctions between past, present, and future not because we can time travel, but because the future and the past are just as real to us as the present, because so much of the present is spent thinking about the future and the past. So what's the takeaway then, Manuel John? If everything's the present, what should I take? How should I have? How should that impact me? Should I realize, hey, it's now, like right now? You can think about traveling in a bus while actually traveling in a train, but that doesn't make that train as a bus. True, but I can be sitting in a cinema and thinking about stuff in my head so much that I don't pay any attention to the movie. So that doesn't make going to the movie theater doesn't make it such that I'm watching the movie, right? And that's what the present that's the better analogy. The present always has something like we're going to watch a movie, but we're not always there mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We could be completely distracted, not paying any attention to it. Now, I don't think the past fools me into thinking the present isn't real. I think the past lays claim to some portion of my attention on an ongoing basis, in an ongoing present, you know. In some sense, the present is the least real of the time frames because even the immediate present, one probably has some sense of how the present will evolve into a future. Whereas the actual present is always immediately transitioning from future to past. So you could think of it like this: the present only stays the present for 1 second, but after it's been the present, it stays the past forevermore. Equivalently, the future is the future all the way up until you get to it. And then, instead of becoming the present, it immediately transitions to becoming the past, you know? If you lose the present, then you lose you. So are you saying that I should be present in the present, like looking around, smelling the flowers, not thinking about the past or future? Easier said than done. Easy enough, usually when I'm live streaming, to not think about the past and future. To not at least experience the negative emotions of regret and anxiety. But we humans have limited ability to decide what we think and feel, you know. Present is the most difficult time to face it on. So how do I know if I'm facing the present correctly, Manu John? Inquiring Erics want to know. Well, I liked your analogy about you can think about traveling in a bus while actually traveling in a train, but that doesn't make the train a bus. That was a great analogy and a good argument. My response was better, but I'm impressed. I, that was a great point, a great analogy, a great argument. Look at the cat. There's no cat in here right now. I don't know where the cats are. You know, they go off and they take care of their cat business. They don't tell me what it is, but I think it has a lot to do with catching mice. Which they would not do. I think it was last night the computer brought a mouse in. It might have been the night before. She brings it in, she lets it go, and it runs under the couch. It's like, hey, someone's trying to live here. Well, they're just thinking mice. The cat is always focused on the present. Mostly, but not always. Like, I can tell that Trouble gets anxious when we're packing up to leave overnight or something. He can tell, uh-oh, they're gonna be gone in the coming day, and he's stressed out about it. I agree. When people open a present, it shouldn't still be called a present. The present should be called a past gift. But people still say they like their presents even after they open them. Right. And they should say, I'm looking forward to opening my futures. But even when they haven't opened them yet, you're going to probably refer to them as presents. And that's just a critically important observation about how people need to use language differently. And there's also a reality that, like, Cat has some understanding of the past as well. For example, Trouble used to get up on the bed with us a whole bunch. And we kept picking him up, putting him down, night after night after night. One night, one of us picked him up, and he was clinging to the carpet, and it ended up hurting his claw when we put him down. And he probably thought, okay, I'm not going up there anymore because now I understand them picking me up off the bed and putting me on the ground is a way that I can get hurt. And he's never been back trying to sleep with us on the bed again. He does hop up there to get onto behind the backboard, not the backboard, headboard. But he doesn't get on the bed anymore to try to sleep with us. So he learned from that one instance that it's not safe for him to get on the bed. He could get hurt because we're going to definitely pick him up and put him down. That was a fluke instance, but I guess the question is, does he remember it still, or has he just become locked into a new inertia on the matter? You know, kind of a tricky question to understand how cats' memory work. I could go for some mushrooms right now. It could help me get my work done better in this cold snap we're having. Okay, that is not true. Mushrooms have a lot of good things about them. Helping you get work done is not one of them. Nobody ever had an idea that says, well, let me just take these mushrooms and we'll get that shit handled. We'll put a handle on it, get it done. Nobody, after having that idea, at the end of that, thinks it was a good idea. They didn't get anything done at all. You can't work on mushrooms. It's just, you just don't have any motivation for it, and I don't know. It's not possible. I've tried it many times. I went through a phase in Arcadia where I made one mistake phrased two different ways. Basic way. I'm just gonna eat these mushrooms before we start packing and handle it. And then the more subtle or more nuanced way of saying, I'm not looking forward to this boring thing. And mushrooms make things fun. So I'll have fun packing. No, you will not. You just won't pack. Getting a present, which it was in the past, is still called a present because that exact moment when you received the present clearly stands out. I don't think a present has anything to do with the present. I think a present is a print. I present to you. That's different than present. Sure, every presentation, when presented, is presented presently. But every presentation that's been presented was presented in the past. But that means any memory that stands clearly out converts itself from being in the past to the present somehow. If by that reasoning. Which is fine if that's how it's going to be, because I like Manny John's universe and its odd rules. I'm fond of them. Hello, Winston's mom. Hello, you don't look quite look as if you are at almost asleep. Well, I was actually falling asleep when I was watching the video I published earlier. I posted it under A/B title test. It's the first time I've ever done that. It was a bit long, that video. But I'll have to watch it again when I'm not falling asleep watching it so I can see just how boring it is. It's pretty slow paced, I think. I'm talking pretty slowly because I had a Klonopin kind of making me into a Cabbage Patch Kid. But instead of that, I'm just a cabbage and it's all wilty. I think for somebody like me who's has a conscious relationship with his previous experiences that's more robust than that of an NI user. Um, I just have a lot of regret because I wish I had a past that I could look back on with satisfaction, a sense of well done living life, and a lot less regret, you know. But it's not too late to live as a better person. And by better, I mean a variety of things. I'm ready for some self improvement. And I'm in the process of doing it too. But, you know, try to be a little bit better. Not every day, but but try to be a little bit better in a lot of different things as they come up. Like I'm doing a better job this. So that's one of the two titles that I tested. I originally titled it. The first title I put was um, Bias Correctness and TI Polar. Then the second title is kind of clickbaity, but I titled it How to Spot ESFP. If a batter hits a home run and later tries to hit a home run again, it's the same pitcher, then that batter can use the memory of the last time it hit another home run. So now the batter is better off. But the pitcher is more likely to adapt, right? Because he's the one who made a mistake. The pitcher is going to be the one who performs better the second time because he knows what pitch that guy hit a home run off of, and he can avoid throwing that pitch. Dealing with the present and the past, which is more difficult. The past. Well, the past for sure. In a lot of ways, if I am dealing with the present directly, I'm functioning healthily and happily. Or more happily, you know. Whereas, if I'm stuck in my head, having intrusive memories that provoke negative self-talk, I'm probably not doing a whole hell of a lot. But, you know, I might not have always made that answer. Prior to my parents' death, I had a much less painful relationship with my past. It should have been more painful, but FI polar, whatever, SI4, I don't know. From when I quit drinking till my parents' death, I was pretty comfortable in my own skin, maybe too comfortable in my own skin, because when I look back at those times, I see myself as inadequately careful on social grounds, inadequately careful with people's feelings, inadequately careful with a lot of things. Well, but Benny John, when the batter hits the home run the first time, he hits a specific pitch. Either the pitcher threw right down the middle fastball and he hit it, or maybe he threw a slider on the lower outside corner that would have been a strike, and the batter reached out and got it. So let's say in the previous one, he reached out across the plate and hit an outside ball for a home run. Well, the pitcher is going to pitch him inside this time. The pitcher is also more likely to walk him because he's now a little hesitant about throwing him a good pitch, having just had a home run hit off of him. So, given the increased likelihood of a walk, and the decreased likelihood of the pitcher giving him a good pitch to hit, and the adjustment the pitcher makes because he doesn't throw the same pitch that he got punished on last time. Well, those factors all contribute to make it such that if a batter hit a home run off a pitcher last time, he's less likely to hit it off of a pitcher this time. Yes, the past doesn't count much in the present unless there's a strong connection like a movie. Like a movie? You mean rewatching a movie you've watched before? That is a way to engage the past in the present. Is it a good way to engage the past in the present? Well, you get to refresh your experience of, say, a story you like, or a movie you like, or a soundtrack you like. Movie is the mind. Yes, the past doesn't count much in the present unless there's a strong connection like a mind. The mind makes the connection, and life breaks it. You are a wellspring of many Johnisms tonight, and I appreciate that. Oh God, it's so cold. I could smoke like 2 puffs of that cigarette. I've been smoking too much the last few days anyway. Haven't been smoking a few times. And I'm just sort of like, I know I'm gonna be not smoking for some few days at least after I get my dental surgery. Which way it has to work. I got to do everything in my power to make sure it doesn't get infected. Once it heals, then I can resume. Good night, Manny John. Sleep well. May all your dreams be of the universe's truths. I just watched you eat. Am I watching you eat again? What would you say when your cat wants to eat and he meows at you to go watch him? Would you say let's go and walk with our feet? And we'll stand here and watch him again. Yes, I get by watching my cat. How many hours of sleep do you average, Eric? Well, I go on wakefulness binges and then sleep binges. But tonight, I am going to do everything in my power to get a good full night's sleep, hopefully like 12 hours or something, because I'm really running a sleep deficit right now. And that's despite the fact that I've been responsible in my Adderall quantities so far. Like, I mean, keeping the amount I take per day down to 2 some days, 3 some days. Is it a struggle for me to fall asleep? Yeah. It is a struggle for me to sleep well. And it didn't used to be. But I think that has a lot to do with anxiety, things in flux, worrying about, like, I'm worried about my teeth, my dental operations coming up in a couple of weeks. And I'm worried about that working and the implants not getting infected, and because I need it to work, And And then I'm stressing a little bit about after that gets done, going and applying for a substitute teaching job, even though that's not really that stressful and I'm plenty qualified, etc. Do you still remember your dreams? Or do you forget them by the time you wake up? I remember some dreams. It's got to be fairly dramatic for me to remember it. I tend to remember dreams I have about my parents. I remember I had a dream not that long ago where I was somehow like calling my dad and saying like, well, we gotta visit you at your new place now that you don't live in Arcadia anymore. And he's like, no, it's fine. You don't need to visit or something like that. I was like, but Dad, I miss you. I want to visit. That's the kind of dream that I remember. Because, of course, the reason I can't visit him is not because he doesn't want me to visit. It's because he's dead. There you go. Now I won't have to refill it later. I'm going to try to maximally facilitate sleep tonight. I did take a full Klonopin not that long ago. I mean, long-ish ago, I guess, but I think I want to also drink one of these wheat drinks. And then also take half an olanzapine, a few gabapentins, some Benadryls as well. That's gonna knock me out, all that stuff combined. How would you say mental illness plays a role in our cognitive functions, Doug? I mean, I don't know, because I'm not sure if, say, actual mental illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar mania, I'm not sure if those correlate to a type. But I do think that Rachel's difficulty sleeping linked to being an NI-DOM. I think NI-DOMs have a challenging relationship with sleep. Admiral Mighty Buffoon. I dreamt that I was streaking at the World Series and the security chased me all around the field. When they almost got me on me, I started my jetpack and flew out of the stadium. Seems like you had a good plan for streaking. The problem with streaking, of course, is they can see exactly what you look like.
Hi, Ansley.
Hi, darling. Can I take half an olanzapine?
Sure, I was going to suggest it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I go 99. I'm gonna take half an olanzapine, I took that Klonopin, I'm gonna take some Benadryls, some gabapentins, and I'm gonna drink this weed drink.
Oh my gosh. You're going to wake up tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah. These are the kind of drugs you overdose on. Die or anything.
Right? They're not.
No, they're not. I mean, none of them are opiates, opioids, or any kind of actual downers. The hardest drug of them all is the benzo, and I just took one of them.
Okay. And I'm not trying to
No, I get it. You were worried. Want to make sure that was going to be safe.
Yeah.
That's fine. Lindsay. Benny's. And now we're going to compete at the World Fair Expedition in New York circa 1908. Well, we've gotten some more sleep-inducing agents. Now, granted, it is true that weed drinks don't necessarily help me sleep and can actually make it more difficult for me to sleep. But I think with a combination of these other things, it's going to be fine. Now, the hard part. Prescription pills, I can just take them out of the bottle and put it in my hand. But over-the-counter medication, I have to perform surgery to get it out of its packaging. Okay. Because what I want to have happen is this. I want it to be that despite my best efforts to stay awake, I'm just falling asleep and cannot keep my eyes open and have to go let it and just crash out. So it requires no effort slash. So there's no trying to go to sleep, discovering if I'm going to be able to go to sleep. Trying to think about things that make me go to sleep rather than going over TE plans and stuff in my head. Oh, good. I'm in bed. I'm thinking about practical life matters. That'll help me go to sleep. Worrying about this and that. I was being ironic. That was never going to help me sleep. It was just a dream some of us had. Just like peace. Joni Mitchell said that about peace. It was just a dream some of us had. I think even the warmongers, the Pentagon, wanted peace. They just wanted it by winning the war. Rather than by being all like, you know what, never mind. I think it's not a foregone conclusion that, I don't think we should have gotten out of Korea. Look at the DPRK. We should have prevented that from happening. Vietnam. Well, I kind of like the idea that one general said we should have nuked the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Oh, sure, if we had had, that would have just, it could have been a nuclear slippery slope. Probably a pretty good reason not to have done it, but I don't know. Letting the commies win. That leaves a dirty taste in my mouth. Fucking commies. You know what I like to say about commies?
What do you like to say about comedies?
Not comedies, commies.
Oh, conies?
Commies.
Commies.
Communists.
Yes.
Get out of here, commies.
That's what you say, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know. Oh, you're talking to people.
Yeah, I am streaming a little bit here. We're having a very sedate live stream as I'm pilling up for bed.
I love you.
Love you too. I can't believe I'm up at midnight.
I know.
Crazy.
I'm pilling up for bed too.
Let me get gabapentin. Where are you, gabapentin? There you are. I've got gabapentin, and these will be the penultimate pills that I take. I usually just take 3 gabapentins. I'm going to take 4, but 3 should be fine with all these other things that are going on. Sleep is like food for your eyes. Just as your stomach needs to eat its food, your eyes need to eat the food of sleep. I want to crash out super hard, sleep all night, get a lot of sleep. Maybe tomorrow, not take any Adderall, get more sleep tomorrow and tomorrow night. Tuesday, we've got Rachel's dentist appointment. That's right, Rachel's going to the dentist. She's getting like a grill put on. You know, like diamonds on her tooth, on her teeth, and some henna teeth tattoos. Doesn't last that long, henna on the teeth, but longer than you'd think. Well, I'm glad I put up a long form video today. And tomorrow I'll try to make a video articulating as I question about going to the grocery store, what the possible answers are, what they mean, how I use it to distinguish between yeah versus yeah, you know. It'll be pretty quick, but I remember hearing Charlie Kirk say that before. Say what before? That sleep is the most important meal of the day. Oh, that's pretty satisfying. Yeah, it was kind of shocking in a number of spots, right? Like it was shocking in the contradictions, in one breath saying you can't reduce infinitely complex humans to a label, and the next breath saying that proves it, Fly Guy. You're definitely an ESTP. That one was just, it was just kind of mind boggling, right? And then that question he asked, one third plus one third plus one third. The answer is one. And he said, no, it's point 0.3 repeating plus point 0.3 repeating plus point is not one. You didn't ask me to add those three things. But that's TI polar, man. That's TI polar. A lot of indicators, right? Like the when I'm asking him a question, he doesn't want to answer it because he doesn't know where are you going with that. And he's accustomed to having instances where TI people ask him to clarify something and then those end up using those words against him in some way. From his perspective against them. I'm sure from their perspective, they're just offering a correction. But that's why he doesn't want to answer any questions. Because he doesn't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I did know that I wanted with the question about so you're saying that if you don't like something, that means there's something wrong with the thing and it needs to change. You created a character called the Mind Boggler. I would guess these people are mostly just trying to win by any means necessary. They don't actually believe anything. That's not the case with Tuts. Um, because, what does he have at his disposal to engage typology? His fourth slot NI and his FI tool. So it's very plausible, even probable, that he has the utmost faith in his intuitive knowing of what people's types are because he wants to be good at that. That's his tool function. And he doesn't have any way of checking for accuracy because that's his blind spot. Well, when he says spin, he means TI. That's what he means by spin. So if he says something and I go, okay, well, that word means this, and therefore you contradicted yourself, that's spin. Because I'm trying to make him have words that mean things when he knows what he means. Those words are inadequate to express the whole thing that he means. And that's why you get this thing from T.I. Polar. I said that, but you just don't get what I mean. I get what your words mean. Yeah, but that's not what I really mean, you know? In other words, the reason you're not getting what I really mean is because you're not agreeing with what I said. I think it can be frustrating to deal with that, but it's also interesting and revelatory, right? It's nice to have a stark example of something so obviously TI polar and it hit all these indicators. Because I never can type people in the chat, but I don't have any hesitation about typing him as a P simply because the multiple instances of TI polar and the obvious lack of extroverted intuition. Yeah. I wonder what type Touch thinks he is. I'm curious about that. Think he thinks he's an INFJ? Tootsie Roll. I've had too much candy today already. Well, not candy, but I had a piece of cheesecake and I had a muffin, both which were sweet. Oh, they offered to type me? Oh, sure, I'll be typed by him. You can type me. What kind of muffin? It was blueberry. It was blueberry muffin. I ate that after I had the piece of cheesecake in order to dissuade me from having another piece of cheesecake. Because that cheesecake is so good. It's like cheesecake's pretty much always good, But that little cheesecake we got, oh my god. I just want to eat the whole cheesecake. He removed the comments. Well, I didn't remove it. Yeah, I didn't remove any comments of his. I think that's kind of indicative as well of not trusting me to have possession of his words. Which is ironic, of course, because there's nobody you could trust more with possession of your words than me. I will. I will treat each of your words fairly and accurately. So because they also tried to pose a riddle to you and then said they didn't remember doing that, and my comment about the riddle disappeared. Right, and then like last night when he clearly had not answered a question, he told me that he had already answered it. Like, but you didn't though. He tried to tell me he had already answered it multiple times. Like, obviously, I'm gonna know if he answered it or not by just scrolling up the chat. Well, I ate the whole muffin. Top, bottom, middle, sides, all of it. I used my eating mouth. It was wonderful. Hi, Jonathan Carpenter. I am falling asleep here pretty quick. I really need a good night's sleep tonight. I have not been sleeping well. So I took a full one of Rachel's Clonopin, which I don't take very often. Took a half of her olanzapine. I took 3 of my gabapentins and 4 Benadryls and this weed drink. Some people don't like to leave a paper trail. People who don't feel confident regarding the possibility of words being used against them. It's not just ESFPs who might feel that way. You have an interview at 9 for a good job. It's now 2:30 in Indiana. Well, try to get some sleep. That's what I'm doing tonight. I've gone out of my way to consume all those pills, each of which takes a separate angle on helping me go to sleep, which which is a good way to do that because like You don't want to take too many of any one thing. I'm trying to get things in order, right my wrongs. Well, I wish you all the best with that. Me too. I'm trying to get things in order right now. Um, really kind of take control of the ship and be responsible and efficient and effective, stuff like that. You also created a character called the Giggler, who was the son of the Riddler. He liked to read his dad's riddles and laugh. Today I invented a superhero named the Chapper, and he's a super villain. His power is to go around and make various parts of people's body chapped. Sure, he can do lips, but you know, he can do worse than that. He can chap your thighs, and then you can't even hardly wear pants without discomfort. You think you're getting sleepy? Would you like me to hypnotize you? You're getting sleepy. Very sleepy. Keep your eyes on the watch. Imagine yourself in a hypnotic state on the beach and waiting and wait. The Figgler. The Figgler obviously has a superpower related to figs. Maybe a supervillain. He replaces all the good fruit with figs. That's just as likely, or maybe more likely. Don't stress about it, Jonathan Carpenter. Don't stress about it. I can assure you, it's stressful to you. You think about it. I do not think about it. So, if that's any consolation. The wet nurse. I got regrets in life too, Jonathan Carpenter. A lot of regrets. That's kind of been the theme of the last couple of years is just regrets. Obviously, foremost regrets about how things went down with my dad towards the end of his life and my failure to put myself in his shoes, basically. Um, but that opened up a whole lifelong bureau full of regrets that I had to like revisit each one of them and feel the pain of a lot of them, which I never really felt painful about or bad about before. All the my F5 polar stuff all came in a stark contrast over the course of a few years here, and I do feel like I processed through the distress phase of that into just a normal processing phase. I know how you feel about regret. I regret tried eating that double beans for dinner last night. Well, lesson learned. Chalk it up to experience. From now on, no more beans. Hmm. So, like, I mean, taking all these pills, I want them to overwhelm me into a irresistible sleep. But accordingly, I also like the idea of trying to stay awake while your eyes are closing so much. You know, when people come in, young people, they going forward, and they say, "What advice do you have for a young person?" I'm gonna say, try to live such that your future is not filled with regret. And remember that the worst regrets are going to come from self-inflicted wounds, prioritizing the wrong thing, and or um, wasting time with people who weren't right for you and stuff. There may be certain stacks who more prioritize regretting things like missed opportunities, but that's implicitly less regrettable, right? When you don't take action, there's no action to regret. Sure, there are times when you're going to regret inaction, but action's inherently more risky, you know? No way I could sail across an ocean all by myself, mostly because I would be afraid to fall asleep in the cabin. Interesting you say that, because not long ago, before starting this thing, um, I watched a video of a guy who was sailing across the ocean by himself, and it was about how he set himself up to sail through the night and sleep 3 hour chunks of sleep. Basically, he set up lights around the outside of the boat so any fritters or whatever would see him. He was well off the shore of Mexico at this point, and he wasn't really at risk of a lot of traffic out there. Um, and yeah, so he set his sails, put the lights on and everything, hunkered down in his bunk, like cocoon bunk thing, because, you know, prevents him from falling out of the thing when the boat goes back and forth. Well, in general, Jonathan Carpenter, you know, I have a lot of friends on Talking with Famous People, and it's also the case that I meet very few of them in real life, and, you know, there's a certain implicit distance in a relationship that's predicated on me, I guess, live streaming. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, obviously, my relationships with streamers That's streamers chatters. That's it's a unique kind of relationship, right? I can value somebody in the chat a great deal whom I've never even seen, never heard their voice, never verified that they're man or woman or whatever. They have no certainty of those things, but I nevertheless value their presence in the stream. I am very tired. I'm falling asleep like little Bo Peep, eating her curds and whey. She sat on her lamb and made it to ham, and then the spiders all ran away. All right. Let's see this bomb rip helps too. Oh yeah, I'll be getting some rest soon. I'm a pretty good sleeper historically, but I don't know, last 6 months, maybe last year, I've not been sleeping that great. Obviously, there are times when I get a good, solid catch up sleep, but I still don't think I really fully catch up. Sleep's super important for me and for everybody, but I'm not trying to tell you you should prioritize it more. I am trying to tell me I should prioritize it more. Hmm. That's a pretty spicy meatball. What other thing could I take? I'm also gonna take one Tylenol. I try not to take two of them because you know they're bad for your liver. I'm in Florida and I'm less tired than you now. How is that possible? Well, the reason it's possible is because I have not slept well. I mean, it seems to me we got this bottle of Adderall uh, last Monday, and I don't feel like I've gotten I've gotten some sleep every night, but woefully shy of 8 hours each night. I think it's because you ate Mexican jumping beans. Now they're jumping around in you. Butterflies on Broccoli is not a good name for an album, though. Good name for an album. Like, hmm. Good name for an album. Hmm. Maybe something like I'm Terrified. That's a good name for an album. Yeah, go easy on yourself. We all have shame shivers and nobody's judging. And I know that's the hardest thing it is to take it easy on ourselves. That's something well worth wishing on the world is, you know, I wish people, not just me, were able to forgive themselves, like themselves, be more the selves they think are optimal, find fulfillment, satisfaction, joy, a network of rich relationships equal to the amount they want that, and a boat. I want that for people. I don't want a boat for me, but I want to force other people to have a boat. Forced boat ownership. That's going to be my platform. Forced boat ownership. It'll be a federal boat inspector who will walk to every house in the country, check their driveway and garage, whatever, see if they have a boat. Of course, they say, oh no, it's moored down by the docks. The boat inspector will have already been there. No, it was not. I looked at all the boats down there. I usually sleep 6 hours each night. 6 and 9 hours are my ideal REM patterns for optimal sleep. Well, that may be all well and good, Admiral Mighty Buffoon, but 6 plus 9 hours is 15 hours. That's too much to sleep every day. You're going to get excessive sleep syndrome. And you know what the symptoms of that are? It's a vicious circle. Makes you sleepy. Okay. I'm I'm done streaming. I'm going to go to bed with my little eyes. I'm going to take off my pants and jacket and stuff, and I'm going to shrink my body down to its 6-inch natural size. This is actually kind of like a big bodysuit that I wear because naturally I'm just about the size of Tiffany. Rachel has to be careful not to step on me when I'm walking around the house. So, good night, and I'm off to see the wizard.